You are expected obviously to protect your goal. So your number one priority is making sure that no goals are happening on your watch. Every time you step on the field, you should want to have a clean sheet, and you will have more clean sheets if you focus on defending. You're extremely passive. It's about communication. You have to organize your defensive line. So first of all is the offside line. You are the last player back. There should never be a time where this player is behind you. If they are, you have to get on their ass, yell at them in a positive, constructive way. Tell them, come on, let's get up, and make sure they're at least in line with you. Usually the fullback should be a bit further forward than the two central defenders. So make sure your team isn't slacking defensively. If there are players that are unmarked, someone has to come back. So that's either this player stepping up to defend, or you're calling a central defender or central midfielder back to cover this player here. If you are too shy and you aren't willing to tell other people to get back and cover when you want to be compact, what I mean by that is close together. It's much harder for a team to break you down if your team is compact defensively and very well disciplined, or if they are spread out like this. This is obviously much easier to attack because there's more gaps, more space to exploit. So when you are defending, when you are the central defender, you have to make sure that your team is tight in defense. The closer you are to your goal, the tighter you should be. And if the ball is on this side, our whole team shifts like this. If the ball gets switched to the other side, again, we all shift and move as a unit. But that comes down to you being a leader of the ball. We want to spread out real wide. So the fullback should get even up here by the halfway line, nice and wide. And the central defenders are going to spread as well. So basically about the box width. That's how far apart you should be when you have possession of the ball. When you have possession of the ball, obviously our biggest thing is keep possession. So if you can't go forward, that's okay to move the ball around the back, come back, go the other way, keep it moving. But the key is it has to be two-touch, and you have to move the ball quickly. If you were taking too many touches on the ball, especially in the center back position, it's going to give the other team opportunity to move forward and slowly close us down. So when we are in possession of the ball, obviously you want to keep the ball moving. If nothing is on, keep it moving, two-touch, pass and move, keep your head up. If you can play into the central midfielder, you definitely want to do that because this is your playmaker. So you want to give them the ball as much as possible. If there's someone on them, you have to say man on and they'll give the ball straight back to you, and then boom, you're going out the other side. If they have time to turn, you have to tell them turn, and then we can attack quickly. This player is the playmaker though, so as a defender, you are not the playmaker. You have to be comfortable with that role. You have to be willing to give the ball to this player to make the real plays. At the same time, you can skip this player out and go for the striker. At this point, our midfielders will move forward and try to get the ball off the striker. Boom, we can go wide or we can attack down the middle again. With this pass, it has to be accurate. You have to be able to put it right on your striker's foot, or at least to their chest, so they can control and hold it up. You can also play wide into the wingers like this, and again, it's about accuracy. The ball has to be driven. You obviously don't want it to get intercepted, but try to put it on their foot every time. So yes, there are times when you will be able to dribble forward. Now, this usually happens when there's a big gap of space. These midfielders here are probably marked up tightly, and there's a gap of space. You can dribble into these positions and then look to either play wide, play into the striker, and continue your run forward. But you have to make sure that someone is covering you. So if you have a center back here already, you're usually asking one of your central defenders to drop back into this role, or this fullback to come and tuck in, and this fullback to come and tuck in, so you have at least three there. So you can go forward, you can dribble forward. Remember, middle third, you want to keep your touches limited, so try to pass, try to move. But if there's space to dribble, take the space and then make the right pass. But you have to communicate with your team. Someone has to be covering you. So when defending, you always want to close down the player as quickly as possible. The more time you give them on the ball, the more opportunity they have to hurt you. But defending, you always want to close down your opponent as quickly as possible without getting beat. Obviously, if you go in too quick and you can't move side to side quickly enough, you are going to get beat. But at the same time, the quicker you force this player to play, the more mistakes they're going to make, the better their play, their touch is going to have to be, and the more pressure you're going to put on. So if a ball is played into this, let's say this is the high striker here, the ball is played into the striker, instead of sitting off, letting them turn, or giving them time to play back, you want to be right on their ass right away. And you're either forcing them to play the ball back, hopefully you'll pressure them enough that they'll make a bad pass and our team can pick up the ball and then go forward. But even if they have a good touch, you're on them right away and you're forcing them to go backwards. So if you can win the ball, great, go for it. Remember, you don't want to get beat and have them turn you and go into this space here. But if you can win the ball, win it, keep possession. Forcing this player, being on their ass right away, forcing them to go backwards, is a lot of times going to force them to have a bad touch. It's going to force them, first of all, to take them away from our goal, which is what we want. And hopefully you can have your defensive midfielder join in, double up, win the ball, and keep possession. I just want to talk briefly about offside, because usually it can be any defender, it can be any player, but a lot of times it is the center back who is guilty of keeping a player onside. So, as a center back, you have to be able to see where the offside line is at all times. You also have to be aware of where the attacker is at all times. If you are lazy, that is when you are going to keep players onside. So if you are lazy, you're not up with the play, you're slow to get forward, that is a big deal. So don't think that you can get away with jogging up slowly, because if there is a player on the ball, we lose the ball for whatever reason, they can play into this player right away. If you are not lazy and you have stepped up, boom, this player is offside. But if you are lazy, you're not getting forward, your teammates are going to suffer because you are the player keeping this one offside. So the biggest thing is to stay on top of yourself mentally. Notice where the line is, get up with the line, and then this player is always going to be offside. Definitely for a center back, the biggest thing is protecting your goal, so you have to be willing to put your body on the line. Hard tackles, winning headers, you have to be fearless. And I guarantee you a lot of the time, if you are willing to go for that ball harder, you're going to win it. So just go in strong for your headers, for your tackles, go in as strong as you can. Don't be afraid about injuring the other player. Worry about taking the ball first, and you're going to be fine. You're going to limit the amount of cards you get, and you're going to win the majority of tackles that you come into. Keep things simple with the ball at your feet, two-touch. Try to play your playmakers as much as possible. Don't be afraid to go over the top sometimes. Mix it up and play that direct ball if you see a player making a run into dangerous space. But most importantly, be a leader for your team. Stand up, be the captain. Even if you're not the captain, organize your team. Make sure everyone is shifting defensively. Make sure everyone is pressuring the players that they should be. Make sure everyone is marked. Make sure they're making the right smart plays, playing simple football, and using their skills when they should. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment and like. Pick up the free training guide if you haven't already. The link's in the description box below. Pick up Mental Mastery and Soccer Success Secrets if you are serious about becoming the best player you can be. No way getting around that. Please come back tomorrow. I'm going to do a new video. Comment and like. We'll see you next time.